Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. It's Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas. Welcome you all once again to this dark little corner of the internet, which is ever so affectionately referred to as ours. On today's episode, I want to relate to you a little story. Here in Michigan, specifically in the greater Detroit area, Metro Detroit is commonly referred to by the locals, perhaps people outside, but I don't really know what you refer to this as. Perhaps by the actual city names, but in this general area, seeking to attempt to avoid digressing more than I already have, in this general Detroit area, there is a place where you are able to go, which is called the Henry Ford. Formerly, it was separated into two different things. There's the Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village, and to the locals who have lived here for a great many time, but for a great length of time, or a great many years, however you want to do that, but not both of them together because it just doesn't work out. But to those of us who have lived here under those conditions, we still refer to it as either Henry Ford Museum or Greenfield Village, but now it is all under the same unified banner of the Henry Ford, not really a pertinent part of this conversation, but what it is it's a living museum. The Henry Ford Museum, of course, being an interior place. You can go inside and they have documentaries playing on a gigantic IMAX screen, the biggest one in Michigan. They have several thousand square feet of actual museum floor where they chronicle the advance of America from the first settlers hitting our shores to the modern day skyscrapers and giants and advances on into the future. It is quite the place to be. Kind of a miniature Smithsonian in scope, touching all areas of life from history to technology to, like I said, on into the future, projections, social revolutions, and all manner of other things like that. Outside, there is what was formerly referred to as Greenfield Village, a step back in time, so to speak, where the modern man or woman is able to enter into a place where paid actors and historical know-it-alls relate to you in full period dress and garb, exactly how people in our past lived. There are buildings, actual buildings, where important things happen. There's Thomas Edison's workshop and original lumber mills brought piece by piece from their original resting places all across this country. It is truly quite a spectacular place to visit. There are active farms where they grow all their own food, where guests are invited every day to come and partake of period cooking styles and all manner of culinary niceties. There are several restaurants where you're able to go into, or, like I said, there are certain just houses where they just decide, hey, you're here, let's feed you. And we go, okay, I'm American, let's eat, yes, hey, it's good. But in this context, there's some things which are a little strange. Now, as I said, this is like Michigan's premier reenactment spot. I mean, if there's going to be a Civil War reenactment or Revolutionary War reenactment in Michigan, this is where it's happening. They have the space, they have the setting, they probably have the people who will be carrying out the reenactment working there already. That's where it's going to happen. So this is the sort of place it is. It's history-minded, it's history-based, and like I said, most, if not all, not all, but most of its workers there are dressed in period garb. Long gingham dresses, the top hat, and the old hairstyles and everything else, which I will admit to having some affection for. It's quite a astute way of presenting oneself. However, in my most recent voyage is the wrong word, in my most recent trip, I hate using short words like that, but in my most recent trip to what was formerly referred to as Greenfield Village, now just falling under the umbrella of the Henry Ford, I encountered a group of fellow visitors who, quite honestly, baffled me. Just, you see it, and for the life of you, as hard as you try, it just doesn't make any sense at all. Just none whatsoever. And so, I'll get to who it was in a second. But I just have to say, as I watched this, I realized that not only had I noticed them, but they had noticed me noticing them, and were proceeding to tell jokes about the gigantic hairy man who was looking at them strangely as they perused this representation of times gone past. And thought for nothing of it at all. Just, oh, okay, well, we're here, and he's looking at us strangely. I wonder why that could be. And there's this running joke, and I see everyone laughing, and there may have been words about, he could probably have, done... Well, I can't say that joke, because then it would give away who it was. Perhaps that time has come. For you see, this was not your ordinary setting of school children, or even nostalgic old farm hands coming in for their last little hurrah to the farm before they retired to the old folks' home. This was not a family just coming together to peruse the stories of great-great-granddad or anything to that effect. No. This was a group of Amish people who, assumedly, came there by horse and buggy. Their own that works at their farm when they're not using it to travel to a place which depicts, in a historical sense, a lifestyle which they still espouse today. And it just struck me. Why are you here? Are you looking for new sewing tips? Well, clearly they're not new, because this is talking about everything that's old, so clearly that can't be it. Are you here to learn how to milk? You're all about 13, 14 years old. You would probably know how to milk a cow, gather eggs. You're here to learn about the electric... no, you guys don't use electricity, so that's clearly not it. You guys are here for less than half the park, because everything else there you think is wrong and just don't want to use that. So you're only here for the really primitive half of this park, which is something that is not only a familiar thing to you, but in fact something that you actively participate and live out every single day of your life, and have lived out every single day of your life since, assumedly, birth. Because there's not a whole lot of new converts to, being Amish. Just, I could be wrong, but kind of my assumption. Most people, me included, kind of like our cell phones and game machines and computers, which I'm assuming you have to have at least one of those things to be hearing this in the first place, so I'm assuming you're one of those people like me who kind of likes that stuff. But, like I said, it just struck me, and they were, like I said, they noticed me noticing them, and there was some joke that was started by it, and it wasn't subtle. There was, you know how you have that joke to friends, you just kind of nudge him with your shoulder and you wink. Yeah, I see him too. Yeah, I see. No. There was like active pointing and talking in Dutch, which I don't understand, but I got the general gist of it, like, hey, look, there's a gigantic, hairy guy over there who's looking at us strangely and wondering, like, why in the world are you here? When clearly you already know everything that's going to be said and could probably quote it better than the lady who is attempting to keep a straight face while you who live this are coming to her who just kind of pretends on the weekends. Just made me curious. What could that joke have been? How did this make sense? Not all, because, I mean, clearly they didn't come here on their own. 13, 14 years old, Greenfield Village, the Henry Ford, is not going to just let them in. They had to have some form of currency, and I'm assuming some level of adult supervision, which means that not only did these fine young people, I assume they're fine young people. I mean, I'll accept being the brunt of a joke. I'm a pretty funny-looking fellow, maybe not funny-acting fellow, which you should all be quite familiar with at this point. But someone older than them, assumedly responsible, because again, they have to have some form of money to get in, so they would be the source of that money. It means they're responsible enough to own it and garner it. Someone of that variety thought, hey, you know what we really need to expose our children to? This younger generation? Exactly what we've been exposing them to all along. No change, no difference, nothing, nope. We're going for our field trip. We're going to take them where they demonstrate how they think people used to do what we actually do right now. Yes, this is a wonderful idea. Let's proceed with this with all haste. I like it. Jenkins, you were thinking right. I like it. You get a promotion from mule dropping picker-upper person to mule driver person. Yes. Frank, you're demoted. You're now the picker-upper person. Crap. Literally. I'm so sorry. It's very disrespectful, I know. But it's not like they'll ever know. But it just struck me. Why are you here? What is your purpose? I'll never know. It's not something I'm ever going to find out. I should, if I had just a little bit more gumption in me at that time, I should have just walked up and been like, out of curiosity, I just gotta know. Don't you folks, like, do this every day? Well, except for today, because you're here watching other people do it. But other than today, and probably yesterday and tomorrow when you're riding your horse and buggy back and forth, aside from those instances, those brief departures, isn't this like how you live normally all the time? Maybe? Just curious. Did you explain that? Should have asked, didn't. We'll never know. Just something bugged me, made me think. Maybe made you think. Hopefully did. Just, if you have any thoughts or ideas, suggestions as to what in the world could have possibly been going on, please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed what you just heard, please leave a like rating down below. If not, please have a dislike rating and a nasty comment telling me to stop being so degrading of other people behind their backs when they will clearly never, ever, ever be able to actually hear me say these things about them. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye.